good. I'm glad to see an exciting bunch of students this morning. But yeah, like Mr. Anderson said it, my name is Matthew Krastel. I am a person with autism. I was diagnosed with autism when I was 2.5 years old, and this is the main purpose of my presentation, is to share with you guys my life throughout my young years and to the present years with autism. Now, before I begin, two things. The first thing is, yes, some of the pictures are very dimmed. It's because of how old the computer is with how I'm using it here. Compared to my laptop at home, I use Windows 10, and this is a Windows 7. So for some reason, the pictures got dimmed, so don't worry about that. I'm going to explain it more in detail. And the second thing is I want to first define what autism is. And there's 3 definitions to it. The main definition of it is the first one here. Autism is a treatable neurological spectrum disorder that affects between 1 to 150 children, youth, and adults in BC alone. Most people that have autism see things differently than other people, and that's one reason why I got diagnosed with it. And some people that have autism may have problems learning different subjects anywhere, and that's my second reason why I got diagnosed with autism. And I'm going to talk more about those 2 things a little bit later. Now, the beginning of my life, yeah, it's too bad you can't see it, but that's me as a newborn. I was born on May 7th, 1998, 20 years ago now. And in preschool, that building there, you might see a little bit of it, but this is the Child Development Center. That's the preschool I went to for 2 years. And it's a popular place because lots of events here in Nanaimo that are public, especially mostly summer events, what I've heard of over the years, the money that gets raised from people usually would go to that place, the Child Development Center. And it's a very interesting place because there's people there every year that have a lot of special needs, like myself. And they get a mix of people that are perfect people as well as people with autism and have learning issues. Elementary school. I went to Uplands Park Elementary School, which is a really good elementary school, but there were some ups and downs I had in my life in elementary school, and I'm going to explain to you a lot here, starting in grade 1. So in grade 1, I had a lot of learning problems, as well, especially behavior issues during recess especially. Now, of course, even in high school, like here, you'll see it sometimes at lunchtime where you'll see issues where there's coming to disrespectful conversations, and not just fighting, but disrespectful conversations, what I've really been seeing a lot throughout high school over the years. But in my grade 4 year was the worst school year because I got into a lot of trouble from the school principal for many different things. And the main reason to that is the most reasons to that is because I used to be bullying people. Now, of course, you get in a lot of trouble when you're bullying, which is true. And usually every 2 days or almost every day in some weeks, I would be in the principal's office because I just couldn't help it but just bullying people. But after learning some lessons since that time, my behavior did start to improve a bit more throughout grade 5 to 7, but not 100% though. It's how it is until my current times. So high school, I did not come here unfortunately, but this school isn't an interesting place because I've been here in the last 2 days and I've been looking around most of the place, and it's an interesting school. But I went to Wellington Secondary School, and it's also a good school too. And high school is better for me, and I'm going to start with sharing it through my grade 8 years. So my first day of high school, of course, is very different, because if you think about this, after leaving elementary school and moving up to the 8th grade, you actually meet approximately 2 times more people than you did in elementary school here in high school than you did in elementary school, which is a true story. And same thing when you go to university, it's that same type of thing. It adds another 2 times, or even more, because there's more high schools and more students that feed in from high schools to universities. And 2 weeks into my first year of high school, I made lots of new friends just for that reason. And I also started to love going to school because more people were there. Elementary school, there's hardly anybody, and just usually 2 grade 7 classes or something. But high school, it doubles it. And then university can double or triple depending on how many attend. Grade 11, I'm going to bump to grade 11, mainly because grades 9 and 10 were the same as in grade 8. So I'm going to jump to grade 11, and I'm going to share with you guys a big moment that happened on my own of what I did to change my life completely. Now I'm going to really tell you an interesting story. Are you guys ready to hear it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be surprised when I tell you this. Have you ever had a moment where you try to fall asleep, when you really try to fall asleep and you just can't because something comes into your brain that you're just starting to remember that you wish you couldn't remember anymore?
Oh yeah.
Anyone have those moments?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So there's one night a couple of years ago when I was still in grade 11 where I was trying to fall asleep, but all of a sudden I really couldn't because my brain was just turning on and I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking about grade 4 again, where I used to be bullying people. And I was thinking, how can I stop this? Like, how can I become more of a respectful student in school? Just like how you folks are. So it was a hard decision because it's really hard to change that type of thing by yourself, especially. Usually you would have to have a counselor or a teacher or a principal or your parents even to help you. But what I did usually it takes a lot of time, but guess what? The next day, just before I fell asleep, I thought about this decision and I was going to do it for sure the next morning, which is I was going to go to school the next day and apologize for what I'd done. And I was feeling emotional then, and I was even crying. And over half of the people that I talked to were actually crying too, because they knew I wasn't joking. I was being serious about it. And after that, once my life changed completely, all my friends in high school just started becoming such amazing friends to me, and it's a big difference. Not many people can go through that by themselves. And then throughout grade 12 too, it's the same type of thing. And of course, my last year of high school was very emotional because, not for two reasons. The first reason is, of course, I love going to school, but the second reason is I just love just seeing all the people that were there with me, and then they're moving on to a new chapter, whether they're going to VIU or they're moving out of town doing something else. It happens every year, and luckily I've only seen half of the students still recently, but there's another half I haven't seen since the graduation. And I'm going to talk more about my graduation ceremony a little later. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, in the 2016 high school award ceremony, I received something called a School Spirit Award. And I'm so glad to hear that this school has a School Spirit Award, which I found out 2 days ago, which is awesome. Every school I wish should have it, because there's actually a good reason to why a School Spirit Award is something to be rewarded for. Is if you ever show so much respect to a school, and you actually volunteer a lot and pitch in, and be a good leader to the school spirit you would definitely deserve to win that type of thing. And I won that 2 times. That was the second time I won it. In grade 11, I won it too, just after changing my life. And then a year later into that time, I did that same thing. And then there's also going to be another big step I'm going to share as well in a couple of minutes about another thing that involves school spirit. Yeah, it's too bad I can't see this, but that's my grade 8 picture, and then there I am in grade 12. I just like to share the comparison because in my yearbook, in my grade 12 year, it didn't share my grade 8 picture in there, so I just like to do it in presentation style, just for fun. And then this graduation card, at least you can see a little bit of this one. This card is actually a graduation card, and it's a big card, and it's one of the best graduation cards I've ever got in my life. And this is actually from Rock City Elementary School, from all the students and the staff, because two months before I got it, I was presenting there about autism awareness at their school for an autism awareness assembly they were actually hosting, and they were looking for someone with autism to go there. So they asked me to go, and true enough, they actually really liked it. That 2 months later, to surprise my graduation, they actually decided to write on all around this card, and even the staff did, and the school principal at the time also wrote on that card. So I'm never going to forget that card. I'm never going to throw it away. And I'll tell you a little bit of the story of when I received that card. I was at a private youth graduation banquet, And there was someone that was working at Rock City at the time that was going, and she knew I was going. So she decided to bring the car there. And and when she saw me, there was a big envelope that she was giving to me, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Because I thought it was like a big trip or something, surprise. That was my reaction. I thought, was it a trip or a couple $1,000s? But no, I opened the card and it had 2016 on there with some other words, I forgot what it was. Kind of like quotes for graduation. Then when I opened it, and that's what that was, and I just cried. Because I never expected any surprise like that before. So Rock City, I'm never going to forget that school and all the teachers and staff there. It's really good. Okay, now this is from my grad ceremony I'm going to tell you about. And this is exactly what I'm going to talk about, the stepping up towards school spirit. I call this the big step for a good reason. Now you can see it a little bit there. That's a special award there. And it was first made 2 years ago when I was graduating there. They call it the Tom Mason Wildcat Award. Now that's Mr. Mason there, and he was a vice principal at Wellington at the time, but he was just retiring. And he was working at Wellington for 26 years. And he's done so much to the school that because he was working for over 25 years, the teachers decided to actually surprise him for his retirement, for actually honoring him for something that big, with his own name on there on a wood plaque. And they also want to award a student that did that similar type of thing. And again, it's a double step towards school spirit, because he had to have a lot of leadership, commitment to the school and the community. And that's me there, and I actually won that award. And in a few minutes, I'm also going to be sharing a video with you guys on the moment of getting that award. But before I do, that's the actual award there. It's in the school hallway. That's my name there, and you might be able to read and see it. If not, if you can't, that's okay. Now I'm going to play the video now. Just give me a moment. Hopefully this works. Got it? Looks like it.
Click those on.
Which leads me
Yeah,
to
that's
our
it.
final award for today. This is a new award presented for the first time, in 2016. This award goes to a student who, much like Mr. Mason, represented the spirit of Wellington and what it takes to be a wildcat. We are awarding a graduate who succeeded in a number of ways in the classroom, showed tremendous growth, leadership, school, and community spirit. The recipient for 2016 has displayed tremendous pride in Wellington, volunteered whenever asked, and often when not asked to, was welcoming and engaging to all other students with no attention to age, grade, or social group. The student gave countless hours to all activities at the school, large and small, and until today seemed happy with only a school t-shirt as a thank you.
And that's Mr. Lintock, the school principal at Wellington.
The plaque to this award reads, awarded to a Wellington graduate for outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to school and community. And we are very proud of calling it the Tom Mason Wildcat Award. Now let's present to our deserving graduate.
Be ready for the big moment here.
He's a big son. The recipient of the 2016 and inaugural Tom Mason Wildcat Award is Matthew Krastel.
What did you guys think of that?
That's awesome. That was sick.
Yeah, and you know what? That was actually a big surprise. I didn't expect that. Neither did Mr. Mason did. It was like just at the right moment, like just when that was just announced in the video. That was when we found out. It was a huge surprise. And then just after that, that was just near the end of the graduation ceremony when that happened. It was just the last award that was being given out. And I didn't expect standing ovation either. Like the standing ovation is what made me cry actually you didn't see it, but just after the video was shot, when I sat down I was crying because I didn't expect a standing ovation. And just after that ceremony, I definitely felt disappointed and so emotional just leaving all the people I've known for a long time. But then a month after high school, I started working at Lowe's here in town. I'm working there part-time as a loader. Lifting a lot of heavy things into people's vehicles and also looking for orders for customers. And I definitely like my job there. I've been there for almost 3 years, so definitely enjoying it there. Now, there's one last question I just want to ask you guys, but there's no need for you to answer it out loud because it's going to take you time to think about this because it's a very strong question and there's definitely more than one answer to it, which is, how can you show your school spirit to Dover? How can you do it? There's definitely more than one answer out there. And it's something you should start thinking about for the next several months. And if you ever, when the award ceremony comes, when June hits, and you receive an award for school spirit, you would deserve it. Because you followed that question and you found an answer to solve that question. So think about that for the next several months. Before we wrap up, if anyone has any questions, this would be the time now. If you want to ask me a question, feel free.
So what kind of things do you do at Lowe's? Like you load and what else do you do?
I'm usually everywhere around the store. I'm both inside and outside all year round. I usually will just communicate with the coworkers, see what's going on. Because usually lots of things go on. And just working there part-time, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I ever need to work full-time because of the amount of money I make. Because I take transit for free, because I go through a disability assistance through the government, so it makes me ride the buses and anywhere in BC and SkyTrains for free until I'm 65. So that's another thing I can save money for. It's lucky I don't have to drive, which I'm glad I'm not driving. And I live by myself. I moved out almost 2 years ago now, and I still have enough money to pay my bills and just take care of everything and pay for my food. So I never expected to be this good at everything until my parents helped me out over the years.
Cool.
Anyone else?
What's your best memory throughout high school?
Best memory throughout high school, of course, grade 12, because there was actually a lot of interesting moments that happened in grade 12, and I can share some of it with you. I was in a drama class in grade 12, which was a pretty good class as well. But my biggest course I really like is physical education. Now, you're going to think this is crazy, but I took physical education twice in grade 12. One, I was in a grade 11 and 12 split class, and I peer tutored one.
Oh, nice.
And you're going to think I'm crazy because I peer tutored a girl's PE class. I'm not kidding. I am not joking. Because when people like, I remember the person that was in charge of organizing the peer tutors to a certain class, they're like, you want to peer tutor a girl's PE class? It's the only best one I can do for you. I'm like, all right, sure. But no, it was a good class. Because there was times before where I'll ask, the teacher would ask me some days in the week of what the girls should do for warming up, whether it's a relay warm-up in the gym or running outside, and I always said running outside. And I don't know why the girls complain to me. Almost every time the girls complain to me, like, why can't we just do like sports right away? No, you have to do a run to warm up. It's better than being overweight in the future. But I'm not kidding though. Like, running is good for you. And it doesn't make sense to me why many people just don't like it. But people have to be getting used to that. That's the only best moment I can really share that I really enjoyed the most.
That's good.
If you don't mind. Anyone else? Anyone else? don't be shy.
Oh, nice.
It's okay. Just before I finish, just one quick thing. If you want to know more information, I have a website, which is www.mmkrastel.wix.com/mysite. I got some more presentation videos from other schools on there, as well as other awesome stuff. And I also have business cards I have here. They look like this. So if anyone's interested, what we'll do is raise your hand up, and if you're interested, I will give one out to you, and that basically wraps it up. Thank you.
Awesome.
How's everyone doing? How's lunch? Good, good. Yeah, like the teacher said, my name is Matthew Krastel. I'm a person with autism. Got diagnosed with autism when I was 2.5 years old. And I'm gonna definitely explain to you and go through my life with autism. And I was told that you guys are gonna take notes, which is the first thing, which is good, because there are some things that definitely could use some notes. But before I actually share with you guys my life, I just want to give you a definition of 3 definitions of what autism is. Autism is a treatable neurological spectrum disorder that affects between 1 to 150 children, youth, and adults in BC alone. Most people that have autism see things differently than others, and that's one reason why I got diagnosed with autism. And some people that have autism may have problems learning different subjects anywhere, and that's my second reason why I got diagnosed. Will you guys write that down? I never took a social justice 12 class before, so I don't know what goes on here. So. All good? Couple people? Just, you're making a note. Just a couple people that side. Good? We all good? All right, let's move on. So that's, unfortunately you can't see the pictures. I forgot to mention, yeah, the pictures are very dim, so it's hard to see, but that's actually me as a newborn. I was born on May 7th of 1998, and that was the very first picture of my life. I'm so sorry, you guys can't
Well,
see
we
it, but it's
tried
really
figuring
good.
it out for 20 minutes and we couldn't do it.
Yeah, but it's okay though. It happens, and it even happened in my last class as well. I was doing with Mr. Anderson.
And I'm blaming it on the cheap projectors that the schools buy, so.
Not me. So anyways, that building there is the Child Development Center. I went there for preschool. Went there for 2 years. And it's a very good place, mainly because the people there aren't just people with special needs, but there's also a mixture of people. So there's people that are just normal people, as well as people that actually need people with them for assistance. And that place is really special because most events that happen publicly in Nanaimo usually will raise money, and most of the money that gets raised usually would go and be donated to the Child Development Center. So that's something, I'm seeing people making notes for that too, that's great. If you guys want to, that's fine. So I went to Uplands Park Elementary School for my elementary years, and there was some good parts and bad parts to my elementary years. And I'm going to start with what it was like in the first grade. So since the beginning of grade 1, I had a lot of learning problems as well as behavior issues, especially during recess. Now, even in a high school place like this, there'll be times at lunchtime where people would be like misbehaving and having disrespectful conversations, and they swear. It happens all the time, and I even heard a bit of it as well, personally, and it's just not right. There's got to be something that can make everyone feel more respected in the school. And my grade 4 year was the worst school year ever for me because I got into a lot of trouble from the school principal for many different things. But my behavior, of course, did start to improve a little bit more those grades 5 to 7. After learning my lessons at the principal's office in grade 4 almost every day, because I used to be bullying a lot in school. You had something?
Yeah, if we have
questions now. Did you want us to save them for the end? Or?
Yes, I forgot to mention, yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
okay.
say questions for the very end.
So you guys could write it down on your form, and then you can use that as one of your points when we get to the end. And
Yes.
I'm gonna save my questions for the end. Sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt, I
abs-
just wanted to clarify.
No, it's all good. So yeah, no, anyways, in grade 4, the main reason why I was in trouble a lot was because I used to be bullying people. And that was huge, and it was hard to believe that was 10 years ago already. And just trying to learn better, and grades 5 to 7, it was a little better, but not the best as how it was currently right now. High school, I did not come to this school unfortunately, but in the last 2 days I've been coming here to present, and it's a decent school. I've been looking almost all around, and it's a big school, but Wellington Secondary School is my high school, and I definitely enjoyed my time there. And I'm going to start with sharing with you guys my time there in grade 8. The very first day of high school was very different for me. Of course it is, mainly because when you finish elementary school, and you go to high school, you actually meet about 2 times more people than you did in elementary school. It's a true story. And even when you get to university next year, you're going to meet another approximately 2 or 3 times more, because the people feeding into high school and people from out of town would go to, like, say, the VIU, for example. Like, raise your hands if anybody's going to VIU next year. Anyone?
Really? No one?
No? It's okay. Do you know what? I didn't either. I never went to university. But if you ever go to a university and out of town, like UBC or BCIT or UVic and all these places, it's the same thing. Everywhere is the same type of thing. You meet about 2 to 3 times more people, because all the high schools that feed into university will always go there. And that's exactly what I'm talking about right here. 2 weeks into my first years of high school, I made lots of new friends, and I also started to love going to school for pretty much that reason. And even when I went to grades 9, 10, and 11, it was the exact same thing. 2 times more people I'd meet, because people from out of town would come and move to this town and come to the school, and even people transferring from another high school. It happens every year. So always expect stuff like that. Now I'm going to jump to grade 11, mainly because my grade 9, 10 years were almost the same as in grade 8, so I'm going to jump to grade 11. Now, I had a big moment in my grade 11 year, which I decided just by myself to change my life completely. Now, I'm going to tell you guys an interesting story. Are you guys ready? Have you ever had a moment in your life where you try to fall asleep, but you really couldn't because your brain just comes into you, and you start to think about something that you remember from the past that you wish you'd forgotten? Has that happened to anybody? It happens almost to everybody. And there was one night, and that's happened that way, where I was trying to fall asleep. This was a few years ago. This was a month before my grade 11 spring break. I was trying to go to sleep, but I really couldn't, because I was thinking about what was going on with me in grade 4, where I was bullying a lot of people. And I didn't know how to change that. How could I become more well-respected? How could I be a student that actually could be a good leader to a school? It's really hard to actually change in the next day or weeks, because usually you had to have someone to help you out, like a teacher or a parent of yours, someone in your family or a friend of yours. But actually that didn't happen to me, because guess what? The next day, I'm serious, the next day, I went to school and I apologized to every single person out there that actually I've done things so bad with over the years, over 5 years. And I was emotional, because I was in tears because of how bad I felt, and so were they, because they knew I wasn't joking, I was completely serious. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Once my life changed completely, all my people in high school started to just become amazing friends to me, and they still are to this day. Even if I see them or if I run into them somewhere, they still remember me because of how respected I am. I don't want to rush this, I promise. So then grade 12 is the same type of thing too. Except my last year of high school was, of course, very emotional. It's a very emotional time because not just graduating, how much I loved going to school, because I wish I was still in high school to this day. And I don't want to turn the people over really quick. But also the people I was in school with in grade 12 are graduating too, and they're just going on to a new chapter in their life, and they're splitting up. And whether they're going to VIU or moving out of town for something else for a different reason, it's very hard to lead people like that. And during the 2016 high school award ceremony, I received something called a School Spirit Award. Now, I have been told 2 days ago on my first day here that this school has a School Spirit Award, which really makes me happy for a good reason. I really wish that every single school had an award called the School Spirit Award for a good reason. If you really want to show lots of leadership and pride to Dover, that definitely deserves school spirit. Because if you're respectful to your, let's say your teacher, or Mr. Balcom, your principal, and all the students, especially the grade 8s, if you ever help the grade 8 students starting a new chapter in their life and then making their way up, once they grow up and go into, when they become your age, they know what to expect and how to train the newer grade 8s and then how they can move on to a new chapter in their life. And yeah, I did win the School Spirit Award just for those reasons. Even in grade 11 too, in 2015, I also won that School Spirit Award just because how much I changed. Yeah, I know you can't see it, but that's a picture of me in grade 8. There I am in grade 12. I know I like to share those pictures mainly because in my high school yearbook, I only got this picture, but not this one. So usually they would have your grade 8 picture or your grade 12 one, but because that didn't happen, I decided to share it in my presentation. Now the good thing is you can see a little bit of this one. This is actually a graduation card, and this is the best card I ever got. And this is actually from a whole school, an elementary school, Rock City Elementary School. Now 2 months before I got that card, it was April 2016, I was presenting at their school for an autism awareness assembly. I was presenting about my life and through autism awareness. So because of how much they enjoyed my presentation, 2 months, there's actually someone that works at the school back then that was going to a youth graduation banquet 2 months later, just 2 weeks before I actually graduated, and I was going there too. So she knew I was going, so since they made the card, she decided to bring the card to the banquet and have me open it. And when I saw her, there was a big envelope. And when I first saw it, I was reacted by, what is this, a big trip or thousands of dollars? That was my 2 reactions. But when I opened the card, the envelope, it had this 2016 on there with some other grad quotes in there, I can't remember what exactly. Then when I opened it, this is what it was, and it is all the students from Rock City School as well as the teachers and the principal. They also wrote their names on there just to congratulate me for my graduation. And I was crying when I first opened it because I didn't expect that huge surprise, and it was surprising. That type of thing usually doesn't happen. So I'm never going to forget Rock City and students and the staff that made this for me. All right, now I'm going to share my most favorite moment of all time. I call this the big step. And I call it the big step for a good reason. Now, that award there is a wood plaque type of award. They call it the Tom Mason Wildcat Award. Now, that's Mr. Mason right there. He was the vice principal at Wellington Secondary School, and he was just retiring from working at Wellington for 26 years. Yeah, so, and because of how much he did to Wellington and how much he was a leader to Wellington for sports and all the other activities, the teachers decided to make an award for his retirement gift to have his own award with his own name on it. And they wanted to award a student that did that same type of thing for showing lots of school spirit. And this is another step forward towards school spirit. which is a bigger step, where you show lots of leadership and commitment to the school and community. Plus, I was also helping Mr. Mason out a lot. I was helping him with, because we were just finishing a school renovation two years ago to make the school earthquake safe. And we had a new presentation room. And me and Mr. Mason were actually the very first people to count how many seats can fill up the presentation room. So basically the capacity of how many people. We were the first to count. And we were all, and even before the renovation was complete, we even helped around each other with things that had to be done to put into the new sections of the school. And that was a good step to have me become that, winning that award. Now I'm gonna share with you, that's the award there. It's in the school now. There's my name there, Matthew Krastel, 2015 to 16, and the Tom Mason Wildcat Award. Now I'm gonna share a video of when I got that award at the grad ceremony. Just gotta get the video ready, it'll just be one moment.
To our final award for today.
Now that's Mr. Lintott, the school principal.
This is a new award presented for the first time, in 2016. This award goes to a student who, much like Mr. Mason, represented the spirit of Wellington and what it takes to be a wildcat. We are awarding a graduate who succeeded in a number of ways, in and out of the classroom, showed tremendous growth, leadership, school, and community spirit. The recipient for 2016 has displayed tremendous pride in Wellington, volunteered whenever asked, and often when not asked to, was welcoming and engaging to all other students with no attention to age, grade, or social group. The student gave countless hours to all activities at the school, large and small, and until today seemed happy with owning a school t-shirt as a thank you. The plaque to this award reads, awarded to a Wellington graduate for outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to school and community. And we are very proud of calling it the Tom Mason Wildcat Award.
Ready for the big moment?
Yes.
This is it.
He's a big song. The recipient of the 2016 and inaugural Tom Mason Wildcat Award is Matthew Krastel.
What did you guys think of that?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very surprising. You know what? It was a huge surprise.
Was it? You
Yeah.
weren't thinking it was gonna be you?
No. Well, none of us were aware about that award ever.
So you were just learning about it that second?
Yeah.
So you didn't have time to think, oh, I hope I get that award?
Well, my reaction to it, well, neither did Mr. Mason knew.
Okay, okay.
This was a
right.
big surprise for
Sure.
his retirement
Yeah,
present.
right.
So, and that was just near the end of the award ceremony as well.
Okay,
It was like the last award to just,
yeah.
before we all left the stage of the Port Theater.
Mhm.
And yeah, after that, I just felt really emotional and disappointed because just even the people I've known for a long time, I still see probably half of them, but the rest of them I just haven't seen in a long time because they might have moved out of town or they just don't have too much connection over there. But you didn't see it in the footage, but it was just when the camera stopped. I was sitting down and I cried because I didn't expect standing ovation. Because I noticed the front rows, couple of rows of seats standing up, and I was like, oh, I didn't expect this. Like, Lisa was better than me, actually really crying, like really upset, but I just couldn't help but feel emotional. So a month after high school, I started working at Lowe's here in Nanaimo. I worked there part-time. I worked there as a loader. So basically what that is I lift a lot of heavy things into people's vehicles, as well as I also look for online orders for customers that make orders of certain items. And I definitely enjoy my job there. It's something I really enjoy doing. Now, there's one big question I really want to ask to you all, and this is something you absolutely want to make a note for, which is, how can you show your school spirit to Dover? Definitely write that down, please. How can you show your school spirit to your school? There's definitely more than one answer to it, and it definitely takes you time to answer it, because so you don't know if it'll really work for you or not. There's tons of answers. And if you ever win a school spirit award at your award ceremony in June, you would deserve it. Because you followed my question, and you actually found an answer to answer that question. Because remember, there's more than one answer to that question. So I'll let you write that down. And definitely think about that. Now, before I wrap up, if anyone has any questions, now would be the time. Anyone have any? Yes.
So how old were you when you started coming around and giving these presentations?
I was 18.
18?
I was 18. I started presenting I definitely remember, you mean the PowerPoint style or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 18 because I didn't exactly start with this when I first started because I presented for 3 years. And the first year or so, I just did just by myself, trying to be like a motivational speaker. But just after I graduated high school, my grad gift from my parents was actually a new laptop. So I had a new PowerPoint, and actually it came to my mind, I'm thinking, I actually have a good idea. In order for me to present better and to more schools, I decided to build this PowerPoint. And actually, I did this by myself.
Awesome.
I didn't have any help from anybody, no one from a computer technology whiz. Actually, I was a little genius because PowerPoint makes me kind of a genius. So I decided to make a PowerPoint out of this. I'm sorry if I'm making you cry.
No, I think I've made one PowerPoint in my life.
Well, only one. Me, I've made probably 10 over the years.
Well, technology, like we were talking about before. I have a whole list of questions.
Yeah, I just gotta finish up a little bit. So when I finished my PowerPoint, it was the summer of 2016. I tried to make requests to go to some schools, and Koltai accepted my requests. So I went to Koltai school in the end of November that year, and I did my first PowerPoint presentation, and it worked. It was a huge success. So that's why I'm continuing like this, because it's actually easier to describe, and also for people that take notes like this, it's totally fine. So that's definitely what I really enjoy doing. And I'm also expecting to be here for the grade 8s in the new year. So the grade 8s will get a chance to see this. And the last few days I was here for other classes. There was some physiology class.
Psychology.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to that. That were here yesterday that saw it as well. So another extra take on that. Yeah, and I definitely enjoy it. Yes, sir.
Did you ever play any sports?
In school?
Sure.
No, I never actually signed up for sports, but actually, Mr. Christensen yesterday, he actually gave me a shirt that says Dover Athletics, so now I'm an honorary Dolphin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but of course I'm not wearing it, because it doesn't seem appropriate for me to wear a Dover shirt when I haven't been here in high school years. But it's a good shirt though, I really like it. But I definitely enjoy playing basketball. Actually, I won a half-court shooting competition when I was in grade 12. So we did a half-court competition one time for Movember Games.
Yeah.
And I won $20 just for winning a half. And I spent half of it on milkshakes. I was too thirsty and it was a Friday. But yeah, no, basketball was a good sport. And even when I was little, I used to play a lot of soccer. And I used to be in a soccer group called Just for Kicks. It's a soccer camp for people with autism and severe disabilities, and it's still going on. It's been around for 10 years. It goes on, I think it's Friday afternoons at Merle Logan Field, but at this time of the year, they do it at Oliver Woods for the season. And that was an interesting camp. I was there for a couple of years. And yeah, soccer was the biggest sport I played for the first, since younger age, and then I grew up playing basketball. And basketball is what I focus more on, but those are the sports I really enjoy. You had a question?
Yeah, I have, you said you drove a loader at work, or
I'm
what,
a loader.
do you like use a forklift and,
Nope.
no? So what is a loader?
So a loader is, usually lift a lot of heavy things into people's vehicles, like big items.
Oh, okay.
Using my,
Do you drive, Matt?
no, actually I don't.
How'd you get here?
I have an interesting thing
Okay.
for my transit.
Yeah.
I can actually take transit for free.
Okay,
I have the special compass pass that
Right.
the government lets me have
Right.
for my disability assistance. So that means I can ride the buses and SkyTrains anywhere in BC for free.
so is that like a card you keep in your wallet then?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Neat.
That has. All I gotta do,
Is that good for like a year then?
so I'm 65.
Oh, wow.
But I just gotta remove this label at the end of the year with
Yeah.
a new one.
Yeah.
That's it. It's free.
Okay, interesting, that's really cool. How did you get to school then when you were at Wellington?
What I did was, my mom would drive me to school, and I would take the bus home.
Okay.
But back then, my mom actually had to pay $50 a month for my monthly bus pass, because she never would let me pay it,
Oh,
because I didn't make much money then.
okay,
But
but as
now-
an adult, you get the pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because first of all, I also moved out almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
Because of how much money I made from work, and the
Mhm.
government assists me by paying money for me once a month, just so I
Okay.
can afford rent.
So where do you live?
I live near the hospital in an apartment by myself.
By yourself?
By myself.
Do you like that?
I like it.
Okay.
It's better than living with my parents, that's for sure.
How have you felt at our school with the high school kids compared to the elementary kids?
There's not too much of a difference.
No? Okay.
I find high school, I definitely like presenting high schools because
Okay.
it's so easy to communicate.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to communicate with people, and people will come up to me and ask an extra question unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And there I am, they see me.
So when you present, do you just go into a classroom? You don't present to the whole school?
I have presented in the whole school.
Oh.
To be honest with you, I'm not into presenting in classrooms. I'm more into like a multi-purpose room or a gymnasium.
Okay.
I'm more into that type of thing.
Oh, okay, because
Like-
you're in a classroom right now, right?
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah. Were you scared before you came to present to us?
Actually, no.
Not scared,
The
okay.
only time I'd be scared is if my parents were here.
Oh, all right.
I'm not kidding. Any of my family members, sorry, get lost. You ain't allowed here.
Can
Otherwise,
I?
I'll have to get you with an axe.
Uh-oh.
Um,
You know how you said you were really disappointed after grad?
Yeah.
And I just want to share this with these guys too. That's a common feeling.
It
There's
is.
a lot of hype. You're graduating and you look forward to it for so long.
Yeah.
But there is a piece, just so you guys are aware, that there is a scary part that now it's the rest of my life and what am I gonna do? And I don't think that people do a very good job of addressing that with the grade 12s because you guys need to be aware you might have those feelings. And it
Yeah.
can be scary and there can be
Exactly.
some depression involved. And you just need to be aware because it is a huge change. You've been in school for 13 years and now what? So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah,
and
like
commenting on that.
a student that Mr. Holmes was telling me about on Tuesday is a student, Devin Duick.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was telling me a bit about him.
Right.
Because he has autism. I don't know if you remember him.
I do. I think he is actually in a program at VIU, isn't he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I never met him,
Yeah.
but Mr. Holmes was telling me a lot about him.
Oh, he was?
And, yeah, and he is actually a lot similar to me,
Mm-hmm.
except he's 2 years younger,
Mm-hmm.
but he has autism. And he has gone through a lot of issues like I used to,
Yeah.
and
You
he
know
just
what?
didn't know how to do it. But he actually took a big step, and he won bigger awards,
Mhm.
kind of equivalent to my Tom Mason Wildcat Award.
When you said about having that pivotal moment that night when you were lying in bed, do you think maybe it's just because you're growing up? Do you think that's part of it? Like you're just getting older, you're more mature?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everybody changes,
Yeah.
but again, it's hard.
And you had a defining moment where all of a sudden it clicked.
Yeah, well, I also didn't like people getting so angry at me, so I wanted to make sure, how
Right.
can I avoid that?
Mhm.
And that was another thing too.
Okay, I got a couple more.
Sure.
Do you just email the principal then? Like you said you were putting out a request to Cole Tyee or this, how do you do that?
Yes, I send emails out. I'm
Oh,
not into
okay.
calling because
Right.
the
Me
way
neither.
I get so anxious to
Yeah.
call a stranger.
I don't like doing that either.
Yeah, no, but I email principals.
Okay, how about this? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years?
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting question because usually not many people would know. Not many people would know what's going
But,
to happen.
okay, what would you like to be happening in 10 years?
If it was me, I would probably be really working for the Autism Society of Vancouver Island.
Cool.
And actually, I'm wearing one of the shirts.
Okay, yep. Mhm.
I got all the colors from these shirts. There's a couple of them I have.
Right.
Yeah, even if I was the president of Autism Speaks, even better.
Okay,
Autism Speaks is a highly trending website. Autismspeaks.org.
okay. Maybe we'll check it out after because we're going to go in the library and do some research.
Yeah, it's a worldwide website.
Okay.
There's Autism Speaks Canada and US. And it's a really interesting website with lots of things that describe autism
Autism.
and what it's like. I even, in Autism Awareness Month this year in April, on the actual awareness day, which is April 2nd every year, that's where everyone should be wearing blue, or even an autism shirt like I am, to show support for autism people on autism awareness. And there was actually, during this year of Autism Awareness Day, you were able to post your story about your life. And I was actually on the Autism Speaks story
Oh, cool.
on a worldwide website. And I was able to share one of my videos from Cole Tyee school I did. And I actually got some little bit of trends that way.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I even described my life. I had a decent picture of me from an autism event actually
Yeah.
that was here in Nanaimo. And the next event that's going to be happening should be at Caledonia Park here in Nanaimo. There's an event called Walk and Bounce for Autism. It usually goes on like the second to last Saturday of April. And they have lots of fun activities, and they sell these shirts there. And they also do a walk around the park, which is quite fun. And also, every 2 years, so they didn't do it this year, but this coming October, in the new year, Bevan Park has an event called Autism Expo, which is a little bit bigger than Walk and Bounce because they have more booths, they have more information about Autism Society and different businesses, and they also have more fun and games.
Autism Expo.
Yes.
When is it?
Usually it's near the end of October every 2 years.
Okay.
And they didn't do it this year,
Right,
so.
so 2019.
Correct.
Okay,
And they always do it at Bevan Park.
okay.
And I think it costs a bit of money. It's kind of like a
Maybe.
cash donation, but
Yeah.
you get a stamp in. And another dream I was thinking too is
Yeah.
one day, actually having my own booth. So I get to share what it's like when I go to schools like here
Yeah,
and actually see if they're interested in their type of
Mm-hmm.
situation. I've been really thinking about that.
yeah, that would be cool.
And actually, I know the person who's the head of Autism Society at Vancouver Island, Marilyn Sullivan. I've known her, and she's the one that hosts most of these events. So
Cool, thank
that's
you,
something, yeah.
thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Don't be shy.
I'm just curious, what do you wish more people would know about people living with, who have autism?
Just to make sure that people like myself, it takes time to learn things and how people like you folks would, and all of you guys. Because I know there's activities out there that people just won't understand. Like it's happened to me. I would be playing something and I just can't understand much of it. So that's a huge one. And it's also difficult usually for people with autism to make new friends. That's another huge one too. So if you ever meet someone with autism, that's something you should be there for them for. Anyone else? Just before I finish. Oh, it's not working.
What happened?
But it's okay.
I'll flick it on the screen, I can do it back here.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
It's just one more over. Perfect, thank you. So if you want more information, my website is www.mmkrastel.wix.com/my-site. I have some more videos from other schools I've been in, as well as awesome interviews. I've been in interviews as well on the radio a couple years ago that I have on the website you can have a listen to. And I also have business cards here that you guys can have. Some people here already have one, which is good. But whoever doesn't have one and is interested, they look like this. So if you're interested in one, what we'll do is have you guys raise your hand. And if you're interested, I'll give you one.
I'll have one.
And that wraps it up.
Can I go to your website right now and let us look at it?
If you want to.
Okay. There we go.
That's it. So yeah, speeches and interviews, that's where most of those videos are. Check that out.
Speeches and interviews.
There it is.
Wow.
Now that picture there was actually the day when I was getting nominated for valedictorian. But I was really close, but I wasn't valedictorian, but that was just during that nomination session. Now if you scroll down, you'll see some links.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's an audio session from when I was presenting at Rock City.
Yeah.
And that's a
Cool.
radio interview at
Cool.
Chile Radio, another one there.
Wow, really neat.
And that's my valedictorian nomination recording. And that's Coltai School.
Really cool.
And that's an open mic speech I was doing. I went to Rock City again a year later in 2017 for an Autism Awareness Assembly, and that's what that is.
Huh.
And that's it.
Great.
So if you check out YouTube, which I have on my information cards, there will be definitely a lot more than that. And that wraps it up.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.